I commonly encounter a prevalent viewpoint in UFOlogy that disturbs me a little. This viewpoint is based wholly on our limitations and anthropomorphic expectations. A lot of people have a very narrow view of how truly alien communication must be. It is not going to be in any language we know or have known in the past. It will be a very high strange event. It will not be understood or even possibly recognized as communication at the start. It is going to be something completely unexpected. Our brains would not be equipped natively for the task. Good thing for our brain's ability of neural plasticity. For an understanding of our language, and this applies to theirs too, they would need to understand many diverse aspects of our cultures. To be able to infer correctly, they would have to understand us on a level that they could not ever attain. They are not from Earth. They would not share the same collective history as we all do as being Earthicans. Even sharing all this commonality, we on Earth have extreme difficulty understanding each other's languages. How many languages do you speak? The only reason that we ever had a chance of understanding ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics is that the Rosetta Stone was discovered. Otherwise, we would never know what they said with any certainty. Language is a highly specialized thing for like creatures. True alien intelligence is not going to be anything like ours. How could it ever possibly be? It could and should not be inferred that they understand us intrinsically. When these hypothetical aliens try to communicate, it is not going to be understood first off. Our modern scientific understanding of the universe is woefully incomplete. It is forever an incomplete vision. We are the limiting factor in this understanding of the real. Whatever that ultimately means. Let's be laser-like in our perception. There are regions of the universe that are billions of years older than our local group of stars and galaxies. Even with our current low state of knowledge and technology, we know that planet formation appears to be the rule as opposed to the exception in the cosmos. It appears to be an observable fact in our collective knowledge. We see planets all over where we look when we look with the right technological eyes. It truly is no real leap in logic or expectation that very old, very advanced alien life exists. Possibly many such galactic winners exist out there in the vast unknown. It only takes one of these winners to survive the insurmountable odds and survive till the pinnacle of their evolution. So advanced, so real in absolute probability. A head start of a few billion years would be enough time for them to advance to what we would perceive as gods. That is a very incorrect assumption. God by our very narrow view of one, but not in the real sense, nonsense, of the word. The idea of a God in our very human anthropomorphic nightmares that we have created is not in any form of accurate interpretation of this intelligence. By all colloquial low-density religions, they would qualify to be gods. These intelligences are not gods. Make no mistake. It is our lack of cognition and intellect that makes those silly claims seem plausible. These aliens were not given this ability, they attained it through immense unfathomable effort. They earned it, it was not granted by an infinite regress of cosmic tortoises. If a species of life somewhere in the cosmos has evolved to its ultimate conclusion, I know what we can expect. Expect the completely unexpected in every sense of the word. An intelligence that is the absolute, at least from our low neural density perspective. The pinnacle of intellect with commensurate form and function. These sufficiently advanced intelligences will be the ultimate in the expression of knowledge makes reality. By either some mechanical assist, of some kind, or by force of will and consciousness, they would appear as gods to us single-planet humans. Such sublime intelligence from our reference frame will and would transcend space and time. They were perhaps like us but has now become more. Some religions or belief systems call creatures like them transcended. They were perhaps like us but has now become more. It correctly should be referred to as attained. The other word has spirituality overtones which are incorrect in basic assumptions. This advanced species of life has overcome all dimensional considerations of space and time. They would know the beginning and the end to everything. They would know that reality makes belief, not the other way around. Their consciousness, collective or otherwise, would span the universe in zero time. Our paltry 4 dimensions would not be a problem since they would understand the universe at all points in time. Their expression of thought would envelop each and every living thing within their focus and attention. From our limited perception, it would seem like a mirror image iteration of Carl Jung's collective unconscious idea. He was incorrect in scope and function. Universal consciousness is more apt of a name when you consider how an active alien intelligence could influence and direct this new form of consciousness. A new emergent form of synesthesia is what would be required. This universal mind would have no needs or wants. It is everything yet nothing. Neurons but not. It would be ethereal and is the fabric of the universe at the same time. Science can examine the phenomena of the universe, but there is always a distance. You can never know a phenomenon, you can only know how it expresses itself. That distance, that abstraction, is the fire in which they burn. The mind of the universe will never be measured by any instrumentation or machine of even our distant technological advancements. No machine, or construction, will ever do it. Only sufficiently advanced consciousnesses could ever do that. Through consciousness is the only way, the only method of communication and recognition. This cosmic fabric of the intelligentsia or Illuminati will appear as near omnipotence but not in direct influence. Since they are pure thought, for a certain point of view, at least in their communication, we and all intelligence in the universe should and will be able to perceive this prime mover. A sufficient amount of complex neurology is required to perceive them accurately. The human race would be just developing the sufficient brain power to emerge into the dark and light unknown. Few humans at the start would have this perception and ability to perceive this ubiquitous intelligence. This understanding is an attainment, not a gift. It would take immense effort and pain to attain true communication. The pain would be caused by having to interpret this high-powered intelligence. We do not understand the truly unknown. Lessons must be learned by your brain. These may seem traumatic in the process. The ultimate thinking outside the box. They would use what you know and modify it to teach you their aspects of communication. This would be scary and disturbing due to the steep and alien learning curve. They would show you lesson after lesson of focus until you understand their cognitive processes. These lessons could be likened to the 14th century epic poem Dante's Inferno. Dante passes through the gate of hell, which bears an inscription ending with the famous phrase Lasciate ogni speranza, voi ch intrade, translated as abandon all hope, ye who enter here. All hope is not lost, just buried deep in translation. Since this whole process of communication is an attainment and not a gift, the steps of understanding take effort and personal dedication. As this would be a process that takes energy, not magic, many people will fail to recognize the intelligence, let alone pass the focusing tuning trials. These trials are referred to as trials due to the effort involved. This effort comes at a cost. This cost comes in the form of effort and the discomfort of new discovery. This ancient intelligence that permeates throughout our existence at once is the epitome of peace. They want or need nothing from our planet or us other than to establish a meaningful relationship. They only want to experience our level of reality in which we burn. Since our concept of dimensionality is based on their ever-present influence. This influence is correctly interpreted as through our most human of words, love. Love is just a word, our word, but it is the only one that fits the situation best through our crude linguistics. They have no motives at all, they just are. They care about us because we are them. We are an expression of the universe trying to understand itself. They span the universe in thought. We can think, for example, of being on Mars, Pluto, or across the galaxy. All we would need is accurate information to have an accurate imagination, conscious thought. This intelligence knows every particle position of every elemental particle in the universe at any given time. Give them a few billion years to hone their mental mojo along with their technology and all can be known at any given time. It would be similar to our primitive idea of remote viewing, just light years ahead of our primitive understanding. This intelligence is not a deity. Just a different expression of life, just one from our perception which is high strange in nature. The intelligence did not create the universe any more than we did. We are all one. Since the only communication that can span the universe, is thought, they cannot manipulate matter directly. They need hands and feet for that kind of material influence. This is where we come in. Our planet is super rare in the universe. Earth has millions of species of life trundling across our dirty surfaces. We are a cosmic Eden. This makes us of high interest and consideration to the universal intelligence. Life, all life is precious. All life matters. All life has their own particular perception. Each life form's consciousness is similar to what is thought of as a dimension. These dimensions are all valuable. Every living creature's dimension matters. Something can be learned from it and explored for the benefit of all. This is the same drive to save and value all life. It is important to understand a very important distinction about this intelligence. It is not all-powerful. It cannot influence matter in our four dimensions. It is pure thought, pure energy. It is similar to the idea of radio waves moving a hammer. It cannot due to the fact that it is electromagnetic is energy not matter. This intelligence would not be like the fictitious Q from Star Trek. No snapping fingers here. The intelligence needs minds to influence matter. That infers that we and the other attained civilizations are its eyes and ears in our planetary collective, group. They are energy at least in their communication. Our immature idea of what a god is wrong. No magic, no matter manipulation. All influence is mental from the intelligence. This is the only way it actually could be when you really think about it and realize that any other line of thought is just anthropomorphic nonsense. Not our fault this easily made mistake. We are bombarded with fantasy, science fiction, and religion. All have an effect of spreading disinformation in their own way. The concept of oneness is a good one to explore. This intelligence is singular in expression and intention. That is to unite all living creatures in the universe under harmony and peace. Imagine what that would mean. It means that Earth has friends all over the universe. Friends that realize that all expressions of life anywhere are precious and in need of actualization. Friends may already be here. The few beacons of light that have attained are what was referred to as angels and demons. Whatever that might mean. Reflections, paradox bounces. Beauty or ugliness is in the mind of the beholder. This is not something that should be feared. The awareness focusing would be difficult. It has to be. Since their influence is in the thought realm and not directly in our 4D reality, many will fail to be able to recognize this influence. This is not a personal failing on their part, just that their neurology cannot comprehend it. No more their fault that a person being born blind to the visible spectrum is in regards to sight. The amount of emergent people would be very low in comparison to the population as a whole. Our human brains are just becoming able to comprehend this highly pervasive intelligence. Many people would have an inkling but no real understanding. Understanding is a spectrum as everything else is. The spectrum would span the gamut from fully actualized to no awareness at all. This might account for what we see when we examine world history. These people that attained a level of awareness have existed and would exist now. I suspect our neurology has only been sufficiently complex enough for awareness and comprehension since we evolved into modern hominids. Maybe longer, but I would doubt it. This situation is the ultimate win-win-win scenario. You, I, and everyone win. Imagine the world where everyone is friends. Everyone has a vested interest in everyone else. No nation states that divide us into us and them. Imagine a planet led by our best and brightest minds who care for all. This is a version of the future that could manifest itself if such an intelligence exists.